You worry because you crave control, control you'll never have. Every moment you spend obsessing over outcomes that aren't in your hands, you're burning precious energy, tearing apart your peace. You tell yourself it's just preparation, but in reality, it's fear, masked as responsibility. You've convinced yourself that worrying keeps you safe, that it's your shield against chaos. But here's the painful truth. Your worry is what's keeping you trapped in chaos. The Stoics knew this. To truly live, you must accept that life moves according to its own rhythm, not yours. The more you fight it, the more you suffer. So, let me ask you, how long are you willing to let fear control your every move? How much longer will you hold on to this illusion of control before it tears you apart? If you're ready to break free from the shackles of constant worry and start living with purpose and clarity, then consider subscribing. Join the Stoic path of strength, resilience, and calm, and let's walk the journey of true self-mastery together. When was the last time you spent hours, maybe even days, obsessing over something you couldn't change? Whether it's a conversation you wish you'd had differently or an event you can't predict, that constant need to control every little detail comes from one place: fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of failure, fear that if you don't worry enough, things will fall apart. We often tell ourselves that we're doing everything we can to prepare, to prevent disaster, but deep down, we know it's something more. It's an anxiety born of believing that the world must bend to our will, that if we don't stay alert, every situation will slip out of our grasp. The problem is, the more you try to control, the more you realize you're only controlling yourself, shutting yourself off from the true power of acceptance. True control isn't about planning every detail, it's about letting go. It's about accepting that some things are simply beyond your reach, and that's okay. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, Marcus Aurelius reminds us. The path to peace, ironically, lies in accepting that not everything is ours to control. It's a difficult pill to swallow, isn't it? We often mistake our need to control for responsibility, as if worrying is a sign of care, a badge of honor that proves we're invested. But in truth, worrying only binds us to the things we cannot change. We tell ourselves that the more we control, the more we ensure things go right. But how often does that work out for you? How many times have you burned yourself out trying to control the uncontrollable, only to realize later that all that energy was wasted? The truth is, by refusing to let go, we chain ourselves to the very thing we fear: uncertainty. But uncertainty isn't your enemy, it's a part of life. If you let go of the illusion of control, you'll find a strange peace in the chaos, a calm in the storm. In fact, the more you release the need to control every outcome, the more you make space for life to unfold naturally. And isn't that what we all need? To stop fighting against the current and trust that we can navigate where it takes us. In moments when we stop clinging to control, we allow ourselves to breathe. It's in these quiet spaces, when we let go of expectations, that we find clarity. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control, Epictetus wrote. This is the heart of Stoic philosophy, recognizing the difference between what we can control and what we cannot. We can control our actions, our responses, and how we prepare, but the results, the outcomes, they are beyond us, and once we accept that, we free ourselves. The pressure, the stress, the constant mental gymnastics, all of it fades. Suddenly, things don't feel so heavy. We don't need to fix every little thing. We can simply act with intention, knowing that whatever happens, we have the tools to handle it. The irony is, the less we try to control, the more we end up having influence over our lives, because we act from a place of calm, not panic. Think about it for a moment. How much energy do you waste each day worrying about things that are simply out of your hands? It might seem like a small thing, but that constant low-grade anxiety builds up, seeping into every part of your life. You can't enjoy the present because you're always one step ahead, planning for an outcome you can't predict. So, you live half your life in the future and miss out on the beauty of the moment. This is where true power lies, not in what you control, but in how you respond to what you can't. The strength of a person isn't in how much they can manage, but in how they let go when it's time. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master, Seneca wisely said. When you stop thinking of yourself as the master of every situation, you free yourself to be a better leader in the areas that matter. And paradoxically, the more you relinquish control, the more you actually gain in terms of peace and clarity. It's easy to think that if you don't worry, we can somehow ensure a favorable outcome. But what if we've been going about it all wrong? What if, by letting go of worry, we open ourselves to greater clarity, creativity, and flow? When you stop getting bogged down by anxiety, you make space for clearer thinking and decisive action. It's not that you stop caring or preparing, it's that you stop allowing fear to be your guide. You start moving through life, not as a reaction to every possible danger, but as a proactive force, ready to engage with whatever comes your way. That's true freedom, not waiting for certainty, but embracing the uncertainty with confidence. We all want to control the outcome, don't we? We want to make sure that everything goes according to plan, that we're fully prepared for whatever life throws at us. But in reality, life rarely goes exactly as planned. In fact, life's greatest moments often come when we let go of rigid expectations and allow things to unfold naturally. When we trust ourselves to handle whatever comes, we don't need to predict every possible outcome. We just need to act when the time is right. It's in this space of acceptance that we discover the true power of detachment. Not detachment from life, but detachment from the constant need to control and predict. You don't have to have everything figured out to does it grow because someone keeps pulling it up to check on it every few hours? Of course not. A seed grows because it's left to its own rhythm, nurtured by time, sunlight, and patience. The roots grow deep and steady without anyone hovering over it. Life works the same way. We often think that if we just control every outcome, if we could somehow predict what's next, we'll be in charge. But the reality is, life doesn't work on a schedule. It doesn't move in a straight line. When you stop trying to control every little detail, you make room for life to unfold naturally. That's when things begin to take their own shape. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control, Epictetus teaches us. And isn't that what we all want? To be free from the constant pressure of trying to make everything go according to plan. The truth is, the more you let go, the more life has the space to surprise you. You start to realize that you don't need to know everything, that you don't need to control every outcome. Things will still unfold, and sometimes they unfold in ways that you never could have predicted. The magic happens when you stop trying to force things into place and let them take their own natural course. And here's the beauty of it. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means allowing things to happen at the right time. It's about trusting that the right people, the right opportunities, the right experiences will come to you when you stop clinging to them so desperately. Think about the times in your life when you let go of control and just allowed things to unfold. Maybe you took a step back in a relationship or in your work, and suddenly things started falling into place. That's not coincidence. That's the power of trusting the process. The more you try to force something, the more you restrict its potential. But when you allow life to move as it should, It creates space for you to grow and for the things that are meant to be yours to find their way to you. It's like letting go of a tight grip. You allow room for something better, something more aligned with who you are, to come into your life. It's a delicate balance between taking action and allowing life to flow naturally. It's about knowing that there are moments when you need to push forward and moments when you need to step back. In both cases, the key is the same. Trust. Trust in the process, trust in yourself, and trust that life is unfolding exactly as it needs to. When you do this, you'll be amazed at how things start to line up, how the pieces begin to fall into place. The more you let go, the more you'll find that you don't need to control every little thing. You'll discover that you don't have to push so hard for things to work out. Instead, you can simply flow with the rhythm of life and allow it to take you where you need to go. The most powerful people aren't the ones who force every outcome. They're the ones who know when to step back and let life unfold. They understand that control is an illusion, that real power comes from embracing uncertainty and trusting the natural course of things. The more you practice this, the more you'll realize that life has a way of giving you exactly what you need when you stop trying to force it. Let go of the need to control every detail and watch how life starts to work for you instead of against you. In the end, it's not about how much you try to control. It's about how much you trust. Trust the process, trust yourself, and trust that things will work out in the way they're meant to. The more you let go, the more you'll find that life is not something to conquer, but something to experience with grace and patience. And that's where the true magic happens. The constant drain of overthinking, the never-ending cycle of what-if scenarios. It's exhausting. You tell yourself it's necessary, that it's protecting you, that you need to anticipate every possibility, but in reality, all it does is rob you of your energy. You're caught up in a frantic pace, moving from one worry to the next, never truly pausing, never finding stillness. But then, something shifts when you stop. You stop feeding into that frantic energy, and instead, you begin to move with purpose, with intention. The difference is like night and day. It's like stepping out of the whirlwind and into a space where you can finally breathe. People notice this change in you. They feel the calmness you radiate, even when the world around you seems to be spinning out of control. The calmness isn't about being indifferent or emotionally distant. It's about having a deep sense of control over yourself. You don't have to shout to be heard, and you don't have to rush to prove yourself. When you are calm, when you are grounded, people sense it. They trust it. They trust you. And trust is the foundation of influence. The more you embody that calm energy, the more others will gravitate toward you. This isn't the loud, chaotic influence that demands attention. It's the quiet, unwavering presence that naturally draws people in. The greatest remedy for anger is delay, says Seneca, and it's true in every sense. The greatest remedy for anxiety and fear is delay too, giving yourself a moment of pause to reflect and respond rather than react. It's the difference between acting with clarity and reacting from a place of panic. As your energy shifts, you begin to notice a profound change in your interactions with others. No longer do you leak your energy into situations that don't matter. Instead, you conserve it for what truly matters. You stop wasting your precious mental and emotional resources on things beyond your control. And with that conservation comes a sense of strength, a deep inner assurance that no matter what happens, you will respond thoughtfully, not impulsively. The people around you begin to sense that stability, that quiet power, and they start to look to you for guidance. They trust your decisions, even when they're unsure of their own. And when people trust you, opportunities start to follow. Doors open, conversations shift. You become someone others want to work with, someone whose judgment is sought after. Your calmness becomes magnetic, pulling in the opportunities that you would have missed when you were constantly caught in the whirlwind of worry. But it's not just about attracting opportunities. It's also about preserving your mental and emotional resources. When you stop worrying, you stop leaking your energy. How often have you felt drained after a day of constant overthinking? How much of that energy could have been better spent on something productive, something that moves you closer to your goals? Every time you worry, you're pouring your energy into an imagined future, one that might never happen. But when you stop worrying, you begin to redirect that energy toward action that matters. Give to others should first and foremost be controlled by you, not dictated by the chaos you allow to dominate your thoughts. The act of conserving your energy doesn't mean you become passive. It doesn't mean you stop caring or taking action. What it means is that you become intentional with how you use your energy. You stop wasting it on anxiety and fear. You use it to focus on what truly matters: your goals, your relationships, your personal growth. Instead of reacting to every little trigger, you respond thoughtfully. Instead of rushing from one problem to the next, you take the time to evaluate each situation and choose your response wisely. This intentional use of energy is what allows you to act with purpose and power. It's like having a well of strength that never runs dry, because you're no longer depleting it on things that don't serve you. This change, this shift in energy, is what leads to a deeper sense of peace. As you stop worrying, you start to see the world in a different light. The chaos no longer feels like a threat. You don't need to control every situation, every person, every outcome. You trust that, no matter what happens, you will be able to navigate it. This trust doesn't come from blind optimism. It comes from the recognition that you have the inner strength to handle whatever life throws at you. You've learned how to stay grounded in the midst of uncertainty, and that is where true strength lies. When you stop reacting out of fear, you start to act from a place of clarity and confidence. The power of calmness is in its ability to influence without forcing. When you are calm, people notice. When you are calm, opportunities come your way because your presence signals stability and strength. The ability to stay grounded in chaos doesn't just make you resilient, it makes you magnetic. People want to be around you, they want to work with you, and they want to trust you because they see that you have something they don't: composure. And in a world full of noise, that calmness is more valuable than any quick reaction, any moment of frantic energy. You become the anchor others are searching for, and in that stillness, you find your power. So, the next time life starts to feel overwhelming, instead of diving into the chaos, remember this: you don't need to react. You don't need to feed into the frantic energy. You have everything you need inside of you to handle whatever comes your way. When you stop worrying, you conserve your energy for what truly matters. And that, my friend, is where real power lies. Fear, in its purest form, is simply a mindset. It's the belief that things won't work out unless you control every detail, that unless you have every angle covered, you're bound to fail. It's the voice in your head that whispers, "What if it doesn't go as planned?" Or, "What if I'm not prepared enough?" And in response, we rush to control, to micromanage every aspect of our lives, trying to outrun the anxiety that fear brings. But what if you stopped seeing fear as something to be avoided, as something you have to suppress at all costs? What if, instead of running from it, you began to see it as a tool, an opportunity for growth? Imagine facing the same situations that used to send you spiraling into anxiety, and instead of reacting impulsively, you simply observed. You took a step back and allowed yourself to process the emotion without judgment. What if, instead of fear making you freeze, it made you think, adapt, and respond? The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Franklin D. Roosevelt famously said, "And it's true, fear itself is rarely the problem. It's our response to it that dictates our lives." The problem with fear is that we give it too much power. We run from it, we hide from it, and in doing so, we let it control us. But fear, when managed correctly, becomes a powerful catalyst for growth. It's not something that needs to be defeated, it's something that needs to be understood. What if, instead of avoiding fear, we started embracing it as a natural part of life, a signal that we are on the edge of something important, something that will push us to expand? Think about it. Every time you faced a challenge that scared you, but you came out on the other side, you grew, you learned, you became stronger. Fear is the mind's way of signaling that something significant is on the horizon, and if you treat it as a tool rather than an obstacle, you can transform it into a force that propels you forward, rather than something that holds you back. When you stop running from fear, you stop giving it the power to control you. Instead, you begin to use it to sharpen your awareness. Imagine walking into a difficult situation, maybe a challenging conversation or a high-stakes project, and instead of feeling overwhelmed by fear, you approach it with curiosity. You analyze the situation from a place of calm. What is the fear telling you? What is it trying to protect you from? When you can separate your emotional response from the actual reality of the situation, you start to see fear for what it truly is, a guide, not a roadblock. Carl Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." This is what fear teaches us. It's not always comfortable, but it's through confronting our fears that we come to a deeper understanding of ourselves. Fear opens the door to self-awareness, to the realization that we are capable of handling more than we think. And once you see fear in this light, it loses its grip on you. Fear thrives on resistance. The more you try to push it away, to deny it, the stronger it becomes. But when you stop resisting it, when you allow yourself to sit with it instead of running from it, you start to change the dynamic. You stop seeing fear as an enemy, and instead, you begin to see it as a messenger. This shift in perspective is key. When you embrace fear, you create space for growth. You no longer feel trapped by it. You see it for what it is, a signal that you are stepping into unknown territory, that you are about to grow, stretch, and expand. The greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it, says Molière. The obstacles in our lives often bring the most significant growth, and fear is a natural part of that process.